Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. Oh, let's get the camera fixed here a little bit. Fix your hair. All right, we're good. As always, I'm your host, Mike. How's it going? Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. We are gonna hop right in and play. And we've got a sub right out of the gates, Hound of Hades. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. We're playing a little lightning blast. How's the audio? It's kind of quiet for me. I'm just going the wrong way. Playing a little lightning blast meteor. I'm really hoping to get my lightning meteors rolling soon. But until then, fire meteors will have to do. The flurry of them just gets me. Yeah, so we've got a new charity this month. Direct Relief is our charity for the month. All of our streams, as always, go to charity. And if you have a question, please feel free to ask it. Put at Last Epoch Game in the question, and I'll be happy to answer it. All sorts of questions about the game, how it's going, what we're doing. Pizza or burgers? First question. I don't know. Good question to start with. Depends on the mood. I'm gonna say overall burgers. I think there's it's easier for me to make myself. We do have a pizza stone, and we actually made pizza last week on the barbecue. But you know, I love a good burger on the grill. We made those last night. Thank you very much. Dahariel has resubbed for 25 months in a row. My goodness. That's great. That's just great. Love to see it. Thank you very much. I hope you are still enjoying yourself. How's I'm really interested now that the changes to shards are out about the drop pockets where they generally drop in larger clumps. And there are fewer clumps total, but it's the same number of shards on average. I'm interested to see how people feel about that. If it's something that if they've noticed the difference, if it's still like if your feelings haven't changed at all, and you're still like, oh, I really want it changed to auto pickup still. Now that that's been out for a week, I'm interested to see what people think about it. Yo, this Diablo 4 gameplay looks a bit different from all the other streams. Is this some sort of streamer client or what? Not quite. But close, I guess. No, this is actually the live client for Last Epoch. And I do expect today will be a very slow day, and that's totally fine. We're just gonna have some fun. I am wearing... Oh, my back slot disappeared. Gasp. Yeah, we're in the new Soul Eater set because I love it. This wasn't even this was like snuck in at the last second into the patch. Because I think I previewed which filters would be available, and armor was not one of them. You're having bad RNG farming Titan Heart. 20 plus drops in a week. That's a lot of Titan Heart drops. But none of them with LP. Yeah, that is low luck. It happens though. There's no catch-up mechanics either, so like unfortunately it doesn't raise the chance that your next one's going to have any LP. It's still gonna be the exact same chance. Which I think is better for the game overall, but you know, you can't get an account situation where you're like, well, I haven't had one of these drop. Like if there was like a catch-up mechanic or a pity system, where you could say like, hey, this character hasn't got a LP drop in forever, and like so you know like it's gonna come soon or something like that. You could like kind of game the system a little bit that way, and it creates really weird burdens of optimal play that are just end up not being fun. I got a question. Can you make a unique belt that enables you to run through walls or even missing ground? I actually pitched the idea to another dude for another game, but he blocked you. Oh, that was close. Almost died. It's okay. We made it through. Short answer is no. We can't do that. Mostly because of the way movement works. The walls create a barrier for an invisible mesh that sits on the ground. That is like the space you can walk on. It's called the nav mesh. And if you were allowed to walk through walls, we'd have to place the we'd have to change the layout of every single level to include nav mesh outside of the walkable space. And then a ton of the there's a ton of casting math that happens that checks to see if it's going to be on the nav mesh or not, which is actually a pretty expensive operation, because you don't know elevation necessarily either, so you have to like pick a point where you think it's going to be and then check like above and below it, and you can influence it with be saying like, oh, I know I'm up on a ramp, so I'm going to check down more than up and things like that. But basically it would make a lot of things. We've changed so many things to make that even possible that the dev time into feature out ratio is so poor that it wouldn't be worth it. And then on top of that, I'm not a huge fan of being able to walk through walls like that, because I think it causes a lot of problems. It would probably cause like a mandatory item for certain situations, kind of like how Enigma did with teleport in T2. So probably not for a multitude of reasons. Sorry, I don't like to turn ideas down flat generally, because I mean I love hearing about these things, but sometimes it's good to keep expectations realistic. Meteor shower just makes me smile every time. Someone asked in-game chat the other day if there was an option in Stash that highlights gear you can use at your current level. Thought it was a good idea. There is not a system like that yet. Stash filtering is it's not overly performant. There's a few problems there, but I do really want to get better search and sort systems for the Stash. Like there's lots of stuff there that I'm like, oh, one day that would be great to have for sure. Yeah. Chief among them is just like a stripped down regex like search system. I think that would be very, very cool to have. Any plans for cool cosmetic rewards from challenges? Yeah. And I'm not sure exactly what that, like, I'll read the whole question next. It's long. For example, maybe a boss that you could scale the difficulty for. Let's say you beat the boss at 250 corruption. You maybe get a certain back piece. Beat it at 500 corruption. Maybe you get an upgraded version of the back piece. Kind of show off cosmetic. Yes. And there's a couple things here. Like, I mean, one of them is you could just like part of it is just a sweet item. Maybe, you know, like maybe it's just a sweet item that looks really awesome. But then it's tied to the stats of that item, and you can't put that on other mechanically distinct items. So there's definitely an upside to having it be a cosmetic reward as well. I've mentioned this on previous streams that I think that if we're gonna do cosmetic rewards for feats of strength in game, the really difficult to get ones should probably reward some sort of special currency, or like a ticket or a token, something that lets you redeem the object for a selection of things, so you can pick one that you really like. For things that are like especially pronounced feats of strength. I don't think I've ever approached this boss fight from this angle. It's always been from the from the southwest.
Yes.
I think I already did this fight.
You chose this.
I think it's going a little better this time.
Walls will be your
I got a new wand since then. Over here.
I am losing my patience.
Boom, boom. Yeah, boom, boom, Bill.
It's unpredictable. I was trying to protect everyone.
It's gonna auto trigger unless I move. I hope not. At least for now, could an unstuck command be helpful? It just plasters over other bugs and should be fixed, but it's a temporary fix would be nice. We actually do have something like this on our dev servers. There's a few situations where it actually like lets you get more stuck. For like sequencing issues. So we've generally steered clear of having something like that. And debug tools in general being included in builds is something we really like to avoid. Alright, will there be an option to create transmogs, make custom characters look different? Look different from base items uniques. There's... Oh! That was close. We do have plans for a transmog system. Do I know exactly what that's going to look like, or how it's going to happen, or what's going to be involved with it in any way that I can share? No, sorry. If you're wondering why I'm teleporting like in place right before casting, teleport makes my next spell free. Teleport costs 28 mana. Meteor costs 123 mana, so it is cheaper to cast teleport than meteor, and I can get a bunch more in. I do have mana efficiency on Flame Ward, so I wonder if it's like even cheaper to do like this. I'll get an extra one in. So Flame Ward's 10. Yeah, it's probably cheaper. I'm a little too bursty for this face. But really, is there such a thing as too bursty? I mean, come on. Right? Right? Is this angled? Weird. Alright, next question. Any hope for UI cosmetics a la Hades? We've talked about UI cosmetics. Right in the corner. It's tricky because there's an element of like wanting things to be recognizable and like easily distinguishable as Last Epoch. So we've kind of steered clear You lost sound? Sounds back? Unfortunately, yes. Ouch! My pride? That's good. Well, that's back. Sorry about that. That's so strange. I don't know what happened. This has happened before. Oh yeah, the portal's here. That's happened before, and I had to like kill the stream and restart it to get it going again. I thought you meant unfortunate that you could hear me again. It was a joke. I know you didn't actually mean that.
Good boy.
Greetings.
What was I saying? Cut out. My pride's not actually hurt. Just for the record, totally fine. Just in case. Right. Where did they cut out? What was I saying? Hades UI question. Oh, basically, okay, UI. Basically, there's no. We've no plans for updating the UI right now. For having like customizable MTX for the UI, we don't have any plans for that at the moment. It's not impossible. It might happen.
Don't lose your way.
You're back. I am sure next. It will be a long road to Majelka after, but you are used
For the hundreds that get tower buffs for XP, couldn't those hundreds? Spires, the shrines. For the level 100 characters that get shrine buffs for XP, couldn't those affect hundreds with increased drop rate for the duration? It could. We don't really have any intentional plans for changing what experience does at level 100 right now, because it does still help. It does let you respec things faster. It's not. I don't know why it came this way at all. I know it's one of those things that feels like a waste once you're getting it. And it's the same with the XP tomes. That one's a little more forgivable or understandable or makes sense because you can spike a respec with it. So that one's a little more makes sense. Part of the problem is how it's created, how it's done. For the shrines and the buff it gives.
How did you enjoy the glad day?
It's not impossible to have it change what it could be for different levels.
Also, there's a shrine just outside the city. People leave.
I don't think we have. I know we don't have any plans for it. I don't think it'll happen. I know we've discussed it a few times in design discussions, and it ideas like that are very similar to that do get shut down pretty quickly.
Nor am I a fan of theirs. If you head out to the crossroads,
This one, right?
enter the
Yeah.
strategic area of
We have the mana. That was a tiny mana. It's 200. Yeah, we got mana for that. No problem. Might answer the fire aura question again. Sam was gone during that time. Yeah, sure. Fire aura. Basically, the short answer to the fire aura is yes. I am happy with how fire aura exists at the moment. It was originally an activatable ability that was replaced with flame ward, and I think it is an interesting way to build passive damage for your character. And usually it's triggered by comboing other skills in specific ways, which I like. I think it feels good to use. It's not designed to be the only form of damage for your character at the moment, and it can be a primary source of damage, and I get that we've possibly missed the class fantasy that some people have from just, I'm gonna cast this damaging aura around me, and I'm just gonna repeatedly cast this damaging aura, and I'm gonna stand near things. And that's like the only way I'm gonna kill things is by just standing near them, and I'm creating this damaging aura. And I think there's room for that type of gameplay with a little bit of a, I guess, a mindset shift in the sense of not needing it to be the actual ability you're directly button pressing. And part of the reason for that shift was numlocking it. Basically, it was one of those skills that was just universally numlocked, and there was no point in doing anything else ever. And it just took a skill off your bar, which we weren't huge fans of. And we felt like we had a good solution with Flame Ward and adding it to the passive tree. It also adds some more interesting damage output to the passive tree. And creates nice interaction with unique items, I think. All right. Is there any plans for more than 20 characters online? I've run out of slots. Yeah, I honestly I thought that had already been changed. We don't have a we implemented that limit as a technical safeguard just in case, and it does not appear to be necessary to that degree. So I'd say there's a very high probability that it will be increased at some point. Do I know to what number or when that will be? No, sorry. Some people just want to shout, "Break yourself upon my body," and that's valid. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. We've tried to enable that type of damage output and playstyle with active components in the gameplay a little bit. Any news on Warlock you can share? Nope, nothing's news happened on Warlock since last time I talked about Warlock. Are you worried that Flame Ward has a 90% usage rates on sorceresses and it's not a numlock seal, but it feels very mandatory anyways? Yes, I do think that there's a little bit of an unfortunateness of that. I think it comes from the lack of utility abilities that are available. It's one of those things that I am hoping will get more competition down the road. And I think we'll get more competition down the road. Part of that just comes from, I think mages just need another mastery. Yeah, they need another mastery, they need Rune Master. But they also need another utility ability, I think. I'm also not sure where 90% comes from. I don't think... maybe the stats are available. At least ladder scraping is probably happening.
Hello. Stay safe.
Hey Mike, happy Friday. Do you guys already have a fix for the town's problem?
Unfortunately, you'll
not fully yet, no, unfortunately. If we did, it would already be out.
I suppose you're right. Please.
Oh, that no use dwelling on the past. It's kind of funny coming from a game like this, eh? No, yeah, we don't have a fix to the town problem yet. it's so wild because like we've been playing with towns set up properly on our internal server tests for quite a while now. And like forcing everyone onto the same servers and everything, like forcing everyone in the same regions and things like that. It's just sometimes the test environment's just enough different from the live environment. I love meteor shower. So good. Any plans for unique items to replace skills with new skills and skill trees, or do you have other plans for adding more skills after launch? Well, yes is kind of the answer there, because there are a couple pitches I've heard about unique items that actually add specializable skills. I don't think we have the tech for that yet, but I'd say I think it's possible to make that. I don't think there's anything that's actually blocking us from making that, which is nice. As for do we have other ways of adding new skills post-launch? Absolutely. Just in the like easy way of like there's a spot for a skill to go right there. No problem. This will even expand over one more. No problem. Originally, this UI was designed for 6 skills to go here, and we had fewer base class skills. So there were actually going to be. So we added 2 base class skills and took away 1 from each of the masters. So we pulled 1 skill from every class, overall, and put more of them in the base class, and left room for a mastery class skill to go right here as well. So like yeah, there's room for a 6th class, a mastery class skill, and it could go here too. It doesn't work great here because of the lock line. It can go here or here, and we just can't put it here because it's well, there's nothing really there. There's no actual slot there, so like we can put it here or here, but it's a little tricky with the lock line there. So we probably would put it here or here first, or both. We don't want to put it here or here either. There's possible as well, but yeah, 45 is just so late. So if we were going to add another one, it would probably be here at 10 into the mastery class. So there's room for 3 more per base class, just right there alone. And there's also room for 1 to go here. We toyed around with this, like above the minimum base class points to unlock another skill, and people did not like it at all. That was a pretty universally disliked option. So we pulled that pretty quick. Fools! They are fools, aren't they? That's so much, but just run. What happens with Grail in the Imperial era, and what is possibly, and is the possibility he is the Emperor? I am not very good at lore questions, unfortunately. So I don't actually know the answer to this one. Sorry. Is there the possibility he is the Emperor? Yeah, it's a possibility. Do I know enough to refute is that the possibility of almost any character? Nope. Sorry. I just don't know. I'm sorry. Alright, next one. Any plans to increase impact of additional levels for skills? I would say in other games, almost always one of the best desirable options, but in Last Epoch, it's often just useless, which is said. Yes, we do. Because, yes, that's a good point. This is something I've noted before, is that there's the value of a point in a skill tree changes based on the total number of skills available, or that you've invested previously in that skill, usually the first 10 points are, or the first 5 points at least, are less impactful than the next 10 points. And then the next 5 points after that are less impactful again. Is usually what happens. So you get that, like, those middle 10 points are like the really juicy points. Usually it's where the like build comes together. You get like specific keynotes. You get multiple keynotes that are really important. And then it kind of falls off again, which is unfortunate. So there are we do have a planned mechanical systematic change, which I know is a bunch of buzzwords, to help alleviate this problem, to breathe some life into late game skill trees advancement. Am I gonna say anything else in the matter? Nope. Sorry. Still one of those things where it's like someone's like, I got a plan. Everyone's like, that's a good plan. We should do that one day, right? Yeah, probably. So don't expect the next patch. What's my poison res? Ooh, gross. Ugh. I gotta fix that. This fight is the sort of the like signpost. You need poison res, but you didn't know that, did you yet? Fight. Does it rotate with him? Oh, it rotates with him. Can you just stop to rotate this way? Yeah, there he is. We can fix that. We have the technology. Hey Zarek, how's it going? You could have got out at any point. Sure you could. Also, where were you hiding those swords? Can you make it that equipment gives a full passive skill point? For example, that rogue equipment can give full passive point from the acolyte. So we can have more minion stuff for rogues with their ballistas. Unique B decoy helmet. No, we're not going to give passive points and other trees from the UI standpoint of it. That would just be a mess. If we wanted to add in, and we have done this before, if we wanted to add in a mechanic that's in a passive tree onto other classes, we would do it through just taking the stats that are on that passive and putting it on a unique item, and letting that unique item be collectible. So it would be like like that specific passive would go into an item if we wanted to enable that item, but enabling the whole tree is very problematic. Hello, quick question about Weaver's Will, specifically the relics. Is there a safeguard to prevent them from rolling conflicting affixes? Yes. Example, I have one for the Sentinel that rolled Holy Aura. Is it possible for it to roll a different mastery skill in the other prefix? No, it is not. It can only roll... So there's never a situation where any item can have conflicting class requirements. So you see how this one says class required, the required class mage. This means that this item cannot have any affixes that would cause it to be required by another class to equip ever. There's you can't have two class requirements on an item, and there's safeguards in place so that can't happen and won't happen. Like you can't even chance it with the Eternity Cache. If you try and put two items in there that have conflicting class requirements, even if it's possible, so you had a 1 LP unique and then an exalted item that had even a sealed affix on it that can't even be pulled. Like the sealed affix can't even be pulled, but just the fact that the sealed affix exists on the item and the class requirement is for a different class other than the class you're trying to say the unique is required Sentinel, and there's a sealed affix on the exalted that requires mage. You cannot put both of those into the Eternity Cache at the same time. Even though in that case it's still impossible to create a conflict, because all it does is it's not a very smart check. All it does is just checks to see if the items have conflicting class requirements. And if they have conflicting class requirements, it won't even let you put them in there together. It's the same thing with Booter's Will. The way it grabs affixes, it won't let a class requirement conflict happen. It's kind of the same way that, like, so we're playing the upcoming Bazaar and item faction system. You can't sell items that have any faction requirement on them on the auction house, which means you can't sell, because as soon as you sell it on the auction house, it adds the item rank requirement. So if you had a COF rank required item and you could hypothetically sell it on the auction house, then it would gain a merchant skill requirement, and suddenly it's completely impossible to use because there's two conflicting item faction requirements. Everyone asking Okay, I'm gonna restart the stream. Send us back? Seriously? Hey! We're good? Alright. I was like just about to hit end stream. Mouse cursor was hovering over the button. But we're back! You guys missed the best leaks? Oh yeah. Yeah, I leaked all sorts of cool stuff. Get those lip reading classes in, because, oh, it's good. Don't. Actually, I didn't. Don't waste your time. Unless you want to learn lip reading, but I didn't actually say anything. Ah, the helium voice. Lovely. If it clips like that, that'd be great. I doubt it would, though, unfortunately. All right. Do we have a question? Oh yeah, well, I was in the middle of reading about the two maps called the Burning Forest.
With who would seek to bind me. Freedom will be our future. My future. At any cost.
Whenever a leader says at any cost, you know something bad's about to happen.
Farewell.
No one the temple is closed.
Was it just me that the authority?
Temple's
It is
not closed
was it
for
that the
me.
authority as the it is. Was it just? If you have, I am not sure if we can trust this friend of yours, but I trust you.
We can't trust this friend of mine. Don't trust him. It's a bad idea to trust him.
I overheard your what? They're corrupt. It's perhaps. And hey, if you're looking for a little detour before you dispose of the guild leader, let me know.
Alright, if you have any questions for me about Last Epoch, please put out Last Epoch game in the question. I'll be happy to answer it.
Fancy a little extra now as I his bring me his
Zarek is so overloaded with like
fancy a little extra work.
stuff. There was another quest we were talking about where like who should be involved with this quest? Well, Zarek definitely. It's just like he's got so much on him story wise.
As I, his bring me his head, of course. I'll be around here when the job's done.
Bring me his head, of course. so nonchalant about it. Will the missing classes be released before or with patch 1.0 full release? With patch 1.0 full release later this year. Yeah, all the masters are coming this year. Was that like 7 months max? Less than 7 months because we're on the 2nd? The double casting, it was like falling into a pattern that it was like dish, 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 dish. Yeah, like the cluster. Oh, there was what I'm talking about right there. Give me that cluster. Oh no! Are you burning forest? There's an old one maybe going away. Is it Act 2? Well, Chapter B, but I guess it's Act 3 technically. Where's the? Because we know where this one is. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, let's keep this party rolling. Happy Friday, and HG, happy to be here. Thanks, buddy. Happy Friday to you too. Oh yeah, we got a resub. Master Sword, 25 months in a row. Oh no! Oh no! We did it. We survived. 25. Got the 25 club. Got that 25 club right there. I think there's a couple other people that are about to hit it or have just hit it as well. It's a full year. It's more than a full year. Yeah, with the Burning Forest, if the old one is what I think it is, it'll probably go away at some point. I want those lightning meteors so bad. I have a feeling that I'm just like not gonna be able to survive this boss fight though. Eep. This is too touch and go for this boss fight to go well at all. How am I? I'm pretty good. I'm feeling good. I'm relaxed. We're post patch enough that I'm like not stressed out about the patch anymore. Strike teams for new features are being spun up next week. Really excited about those. My mom's coming to town next week. Went for a great hike this weekend. Or last weekend. Going for a great hike this weekend too. Same one. Yeah, feel good. Little tired. I guess I've been playing some Tears of the Kingdom in the evenings, couple hours a night. Haven't had much time. It's you get old, you get tired. Responsibilities. Get a couple hours in. We're still very early in the game though. It's been nice to take our time with it. Very much looking forward to starting Master Mode.
Can I help you?
I also... Oh! Ow! My face. Why did that hurt so much? Ow. Alrighty then. I guess we're gonna show. Now here's something that was given to me to show last stream, which was 2 weeks ago, which was pre-patch. So I think this may already be in the game, and I just like didn't see it until it was too late. But like, here's a little in-game render of a unique item. Going fishing for a half day tomorrow. It's exciting. So feeling tired all the time as well. Fishing's nice. I haven't been fishing in years. Any chance we get some kind of balanced hotfix before next patch? Maybe. I know someone was pitching that idea to do. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. I know. So there's this interesting thing that's happened is now that we've released a ladder, there's sort of this impetus to not make huge nerfs to top tier builds mid ladder. And then on top of that, the prime, like if we do a balance pass without nerfs to top tier builds, it's just power creep is all it is. It's just power creep. And there's a lot of bugged builds on the ladder right now too. So I think that if I don't know if we have the time to do this either as well. There's so many things to get done for 1.0. And it might just be maybe we'll take a crack at some of it quickly to try and fix the major problems. But it may also just be something we just don't have time for at the moment. The version of the ladder that's out right now is mostly for like testing. It's a beta version of the ladder itself. So we're trying to make sure it's solid and the features are there and we get developed. As far as balancing goes, if it were not a time issue, I think my vote would be to do a mid-season, like do a ladder reset basically. Seal the ladder, enshrine it, say like, okay, great, people who did well, great, we're moving on to the next ladder. Here's a balance patch, ladder reset, balance patch, go. But don't like delete the characters. Like leave the characters, no character reset, just a ladder wipe basically with a big balance patch. And save the ladder stats, so don't push them off. Don't delete them. But that would be, I think, the ideal solution. I don't know if we have the time to do that. I think in a perfect world, that's what we would do. Let's keep going. Let's have some fun here. Where are we going? We're going south, right? Pretty sure we're going south. Follow the yellow item road. I should really be looking at some of this. I'm just like, yeah, pass. But there's good upgrades in here, and I'm just ignoring them. Will there be big changes to... Oh my goodness. What is going on? Ugh. Got that burst damage. Will there be changes to the profanity in chat? Yes. Most German sentences was more than like 10 words are censored for random stuff. That sucks. Yeah. There's still stuff going on about chat updates, because yes, the profanity filter is not doing its job properly. If you got a question for me to answer, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question, just so I know it's one that you really want me to look at. I'll be happy to answer. I do see one here that I'll answer anyways, though. Question, this must have been asked every stream, but will we be able to filter shards, or at least allow pickup box to be bigger? We don't have any plans to add shards themselves to the filter system. As for the ground item labels, which is what we call these, the height of them needs to be consistent and will stay consistent relative to each other. They can all get bigger or none of them get bigger, but they can't have variable heights on those labels. Which might seem kind of arbitrary, but it's actually very important. Mostly from a the ability for us to, like, as players, when I say us as players, to be able to look at a large number of items. Don't have a large number of items to look at, really, but having this still be a functional environment to be in, a lot of that has to do with these being a consistent height, and you can still interact with the world a lot better. They blend into nothing a lot easier when they are consistent height. If you're trying to look past them, you can, basically. It's actually a sweet rain. Wait, what? Did I do something not right? Am I the fool? Why is it still telling me to go down here? It's just wrong, isn't it? Pretty sure it's just wrong. Okay, more questions. I see a bunch more questions. A leader in the ARPG landscape recently partnered with a fast food giant to put themed cosmetics in games. So if Ellie could partner with any restaurant chain, what would it be? And do you have any ideas for related cosmetics, items, and item names? Wow. I can honestly say I've never considered this question before, which is rare. Usually something shows up and I'm like, oh yeah, I've thought about that in some way a little bit before. Nothing. Literally nothing. I'd go selfish with it, and I'd want to partner with something that's just like food I really like. I don't know. That seems so strange. I don't know. This is a funny question. I like it a lot. If I could partner with any restaurant chain, what would it be? I don't know. First off, I don't see us doing this. Both from a, we're probably not big enough for any restaurant chain to care enough to want to do this in the first place. But
what brings you here?
Yeah. Yeah, prison wraps, right? I'm just gonna stick prison wraps.
Farewell.
I don't know. Do like Burger King and a giant burger helmet cosmetics. It's like just a giant burger. Let's go call back to earlier this stream. Giant burger. Burger head. There we go. Alright, next question. Are you guys mostly just focusing on polished and unfinished classes right now, or is it new content also in the works for 1.0? One of the primary content pieces for 1.0 is the are the missing mastery classes. I think that's one of the main content pieces that's missing. There is other content stuff, like I guess more traditional content stuff. I don't know how to describe it properly, but maybe things that you might consider more similar to a traditional League mechanic, I guess. Let me know if you can hear me.
Haha! I may be this, but I know win-win. All right. Once you're after that. Oh, come on.
That's a
There's
terrible
fighting spirit.
plan.
It's going to work.
Sweet.
It's not like you've got any other options.
It worked. Wonderful. I don't know when it cut out or what I was saying, but it was good stuff. Let me just tell you that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess I was probably talking about Path to 1.0 and what we're doing there. A lot of it's polish. There is still some gameplay stuff to be added. TLD. Too quiet, couldn't hear. So the next question, repeat. So since I didn't mention before, are there plans to make UI option for numlocking skills? Veteran players probably won't stop numlocking, and some skills are a bit frustrating to press every 2 to 3 seconds, or just holding the key non-stop before a new player figures out there is a numlock trick in existence. I think that there's more openness towards the idea of a numlocking skill system like built into the UI than there was previously. I know we don't have any plans for it at the moment, but I'd say not impossible. Is it? Can you hear me? Someone say something if you can hear me. Type 1 if you can hear me, please. I need to know. Yay! 2 counts. 3 counts as well. All right. Next question. Hey, is there any reason that the play offline button is smaller? Please pick the same size as the play online button. I saw this post on Reddit or the forums. I can't remember which one. Probably not. I don't think we'll do that. I don't know. I'm not the UI designer, but I know it is very intentionally a different size. I expect it's likely because online is the primary game mode and most people will be playing online. And when a new player starts at the game, it's the indication that that's the mode that we're expecting most people to play on and get the full experiences through online. That's what I think. But speculation is speculation. Alright, more max or transmogs when? When it's ready, because I don't know what that means. I don't know what more max means. I'm sorry, as I'm sure this was asked, but I joined late. That's okay. Will players be in towns be enabled again, or no immediate plans again? I'm sure answered. Sorry about that. Yeah, it is something that we want to get back up and running as soon as possible. It's as soon as it's fixed, it'll be turned back on again, basically. It is a pretty key feature, not only for what we consider to be pretty important gameplay stuff, but also like it makes servers cheaper for us to run, which is really important. Just because there's fewer servers running, you know, like it gets people into game easier, lets us get more people in because there's less, like there's not one server per person, it's one server for 15 people, you know, and it's yeah, just better for, I shouldn't say everyone because I'm sure someone it hurts, unfortunately, but for the most part it is a big improvement. Oh, that's what I want. Whoops. Well, I think we're going up here, right? Crit multi, yeah. Hi, just for clarification, spark charge. Oh, spark charge. I don't know is the answer to this question. Spark charges are unlimited, right? I mean, multiple can be attached to one target. Jiltip doesn't exactly say it, except the wording spark charges, plural. Yes, they are unlimited. I do know the answer to this one. It would mention a stack cap if it didn't have one. If you're ever unsure about this, I think lastepochtools.com actually says it explicitly, and that information is like ailment information is just mined directly from the game file, so it is accurate. Well, all that I've seen is accurate. I don't want to guarantee it. Oh, MTX, not more MTX or transmogs win. Ah, that makes a lot more sense. Sorry. Yeah, more MTX. We're definitely adding more MTX. That pipeline is up and running. People are adding stuff to it. It's going. Transmogs, no ETA yet. I know it's something we've talked about positively before. Item comparison when you wear 2 rings. Yeah, it's gonna show both rings equipped plus the loot drop. There's a fair bit that actually has to be done to make this work and make this happen. It is something that is possible. We don't have any plans for it immediately. I'd say it's more likely to get like an extra key that compares the other ring for now, because that can be done pretty quickly in the code. But that task will likely get, because that's something that we need to have, and that task will likely get put in my column, and it's not in my column at the moment. So yeah. Do you still guys have plans to update, change, add any UI stuff for 1.0? Yes, there's UI stuff that's coming for 1.0. Well, there's like one big thing. Factions. Factions UI is coming. That's going to be the biggest change in UI between now and 1.0, but I'm sure there's other stuff too. I know there's a project that requires a big UI update for certain things that is planned for after 1.0 as well. I think this is the one we want, because this makes it crit way more. We don't really care about the damage. We don't really use this anyways, but when we do, we want it to crit because we get more mana when it crits. Any information about the long loading times between zones and teleporting when playing in multiplayer? I don't have anything to say for you with that right now. I don't know. I don't know anything about it myself. It's one of those things that like I do know that it's pretty rare that it actually, like, overall grand scheme of things, it's pretty rare, and I know there's people that are experiencing it completely. So it seems like it's a more prevalent thing than it might actually be, but it is very high priority, and we are working on it. The long loading times is especially bad in you're right, in multiplayer. That one's got some problems. We're still working on that. That one needs some fundamental architectural updates. And some of our back end has been in the process of a major update for quite a while now. Well, none of it's like been deployed yet, but we're working on it. I know it doesn't necessarily seem like it, but the network infrastructure and performance for multiplayer is a huge priority for us, and it is something that we are working very hard on. It's just a really huge task, and other things get completed at the same time in the meantime. So it's those things get released. We're not holding up production on other tasks while we're working on it. So it doesn't always appear like it is a top priority item, but it is. Waypoint. Yes. Save me. Why won't you do anything? Oh gosh. Run away. Basically, in multiplayer, what happens right now is basically each scene is a server. So each zone is its own server. And when you're on your own playing solo and you go into a new you do a scene transition. The scene you're in, the server you're on, can just close the last scene and open the new one, and it's totally fine, and you just keep going. But when you're in multiplayer and you have two people and one person goes into that new scene, the person that's left back has to stay in that server. So the person that's advanced to the new scene has to spin up a new server. And that spinning up a new server time is what's taking so long, and what's like causing that huge delay in multiplayer scene transition. Because once that person's in, the second person coming to them happens really quickly. But frequently that transition happens at the same time, so both people go together and both people experience that really long load time. That's if you want to know why it's happening. It's not as terrible in Monolith because we do some funky stuff to have multiple things loaded at once. But it's still there. And we are exploring multiple avenues to make improvements there. It's not just like, oh, we've got an idea, let's try this one idea. It's like, okay, we've got 6 ideas. Let's put different people on different ideas and let's get them all going. Like it is a very high priority thing for us. Alrighty then. Are you guys doing some statistics on skill usage? Are there plans to rework buff underused skills since they are less played for a reason? We're not running balance changes based on metrics and statistics at the moment. It's one tool in the toolbox that we are planning on using for balancing and design changes. And you've worded the question interestingly, because you do make a good point in that it's not necessarily always, I don't know if it's intentional or just the way it's worded, maybe I'm reading into it, it's not always intentionally less played because it's less powerful. Sometimes it's less played because it's just not fun to play. Maybe like it's just clunky. Which I think is what would happen if we just cranked up the damage on Tempest Strike. I still don't think it would be played because of the attack speed clunkiness that a lot of people see. So I think that it would be it does require a little bit more of a change than just damage to make it better played. So yeah, I think things like that are a good indicator of targets, but not necessarily indicators of solutions. Are you guys planning on overhauling the language in the passive and skill trees for 1.0? No. I don't think I'm the only one that thinks the wording is a little inconsistent and requires some outside knowledge to understand exactly what some things do. Yeah, like there's some outliers for sure. I think for the vast majority of nodes, they're actually really good. But I think there are some standout examples that need to be changed. So it's overhauling the language in the passives, no. Improving select nodes to be better readable, yes. Are you guys getting enough sleep? Feeling all right? Yeah, I think so. You know, some of us have other things in our lives, like very little people that live with us that require a lot of attention. So that eats into your sleep, but yeah, I think we're approaching game development responsibly as far as work-life balance. Which is very important. I want a question, but I don't want to die. Look like I got my Zarek minion here. Alright, I know you guys want faction speed 1.0, but are the testers going to be able to test it beforehand, or is it going to be purely in-house testing? feel like players can always find ways to break such systems. Yeah, we do intend to release the item factions to community testers before launching it fully. Don't know exactly how that's going to happen or when, but that is the plan at the moment. You missed my sub. Feels bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Random name X. Oh, 1,000 sorries. 17 months. That's a big one. Can we get a face mask MTX for Halloween of me? Like those plastic face masks? Or would that be considered pay to win? I mean, that is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Right? Just look like me? I don't think so, but maybe. I wouldn't hate that. Oh, weird. You see that? The meteors went off. There's some targeting issues with meteor. That's funny. Interesting. Okay, well, let's just get back on solid ground then, shall we? Oh. That was a little iffy. Actually, a lot iffy, but you know. We survived. Alright. Thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. I don't remember which one it was, but I hope I did a good job. I understand that work on the back end might not appear as being work can be visualized. I understand what you're saying. Thanks. Keep up the good work. Will do. Will we have the possibility to recolor our items? Is the third time I asked the same question. It could be cool at all black for glowing, or glowing for an example. We don't have plans for this. It would require a ton of texture changes or just an entire recolor system added to the, like a way to like identify certain pieces of textures to be recolorable. I don't know how that would work. It'd be like some sort of mask where you could like dictate specific parts of a texture to be recolorable. Might not be terrible. I know there's no plans for it at the moment.
Try not to fall off.
That would be a very low priority if there are plans for it.
And she should take care of the
Alright, how happy are you with how the patch landed? I mean, the town problem that happened for the first 3 or 4 hours was disappointing, to say the least. I loved hanging out in towns. Like that first, so like when the patch dropped, I was on immediately. And I like went to town and saw some people. I like randomly I ran into Aaron in town. I was like, this is super cool. And like that was a highlight of the patch release for me. And then I heard that it was not working properly, and I was like, oh no. Crashed faster than a dive bomb and bird. Speaking of,
Well, that wasn't too bad. Be my guest. I'm good right where I am. Thank you. Unfortunately, this is where we part. For now, at least. You have yourself a giant snake to catch, and I have a coup to continue. I'll be headed for the temple's gates and letting in a few hundred of my closest friends, splitting up.
All right.
I look forward to seeing you after your chat.
Sound is back? And we're back. Hey, that's great. No, not Comcast. I actually have like very reliable fiber. The only time I have an issue is every 4 or 5 months with Twitch doing this. This is the third time this has happened, I think. Sounds like I'm on helium. Hit F5 if my voice sounds weird. It'll reset. Alright, where did I leave off? Helium robot voice. Oh, that sounds fantastic. I wonder if I should have like a list of funny things to say in a helium robot voice prepared. Like, it was a one-horned, one-eyed flying purple people eater. One-horned, one-eyed flying purple people eater. One-horned, one-eyed flying purple people eater. Sure looks good to me. Pow, pow, pow. Bet that sounds hilarious in helium. Oh god! I don't know why I thought going faster walking would save me from the poison damage. Alright. Will the well-run college quest be modified? So much backtracking and loading time that I just play with one less point. Do you have any idea how many people do the quest? Well, first of all, that quest is not mandatory to complete all of your passive points. There are more, like, so there are 15 passive point rewards available in the in all the quests. But like, so you'll use the idols. The idols the same way. So I have a quest here to complete with an idol inventory expansion, but I've got 8 of 8 already, and another one 8 of 8 already. So we put, and like, there's one passive point, there's another passive point and an idol. There's another passive point, another passive point, another passive point, but I only have one left. So there's more passive point quests than there are passive points available total. So you don't have to do all of the passive point quests. I think that quest is an exceptional use of time travel thematically in our quest system, and it's the best one there for that. So I can't see that going away anytime soon, especially considering it's not mandatory. It is fully optional to complete. But I do hear you on the loading times, and hopefully just improving our loading times will fix that problem, you know? So I think that the changing that quest would be treating the symptoms but not the cause. If that makes any sense? What is the highest mono corruption that is played by EHE team members? I have no idea. If you know what class build is pushing that high, I do not know. I'm sorry. It's probably like Carve or Reimer or Justin or Anna or someone like that. Or someone else possibly. I don't know. There are many talented Epoch players on the team for sure. I am not chief among them at all. No way. I just have a pretty face. That's the only reason I'm here. You can't laugh at yourself. Who can you laugh at, right? More questions. What am I doing? Will there be more time travel in the game besides a couple of zones? You get a whole while leveling the overall concept of the game. Yeah, we definitely do look to incorporate more time travel effects into the game. I think the well-run college quest, it was an experimental quest and is a really good example of using time travel in a pretty normal, but kind of a little bit. There's a little bit of creativity there. It's not just like go back in time and it's open. It's a little bit trickier than that, which I love. And if you haven't done that quest ever, I highly recommend going and doing it and reading all the dialogue and everything, because I think it is, I think it's one of our better side quests from a like writing and story and just coolness perspective. But yeah, working in more hard and clear time travel thematics and mechanics is something that we do look for opportunities to do. That was a labored sentence. Will the ethos behind the Falconer mastery when designing skills? What is the ethos behind the Falconer mastery when designing skills? Are there core goals of the mastery, since you noted the skills are still up in the air before? Yeah, so the I don't know if I can actually answer this question properly. I'm sorry. I think it's really just bringing to life the fantasy of being this a rogue that now has a very strong connection to this falcon that is become part of your character, and just really driving home that class fantasy and that those feelings through the mechanics, I guess, is really the important part. Like it's interesting because the falconer, I think this is pretty obvious. I think I can say this: you won't be able to actually get a falcon on any class other than the falconer. I hope that's not a shock to anyone. I feel like I've said that before, maybe not, but you won't be able to unlock the falcon on a marksman, let's say. And so like skills that directly interact with the falcon can't be unlockable by the marksman or blade dancer either, right? So these two skills here and these two skills here have different like abilities as far as interactions with the falcon, and so driving home that that class fantasy while not I guess breaking the availability of skills too much is really important, and then working in base class skills at the same time, because there's room for base class skills to get added at the same time, because the rogue does not have a full complement of base class skills. So we are adding in thematically and mechanically synergistic abilities in the base class at the same time when we're designing the mastery class skills as well. Or at least designing them with them in mind. Can't remember if we care about any of these really. Not really. Charges is nice, but I don't really want to go through cooldown increase at the end of the world. It's just a long way to go. I don't think we have the points to get there. Where am I going? No, seriously, where am I going? Why did I walk? I know you've answered this before, but I've forgotten. That's okay. What corruption is the game currently balanced around? I feel I remember it being 200 to 300. And a follow-up question: how do you guys feel about the builds that can reach 1500 plus corruption? Are they in need of a nerf, or is everything else in need of more synergy power? Generally, we look at around 300-ish is where we're looking. And yeah, the builds that are hitting 1500 is I don't want to say a mistake. I really wanted to get to this chest, guys. Do you see this stuff? How amazing is all of this? Like, wow. Can you believe that I almost didn't come back for this? Like, increased poison damage. Oh, pick that up. Yeah. Oops, wrong one. I mean, crit strike multi. Actually, that's pretty good. Did I just... Okay, may have actually just made a sweet item. As a joke. We're gonna... Just gonna fix this. Flip me here. Alright, let's... we're definitely serious about crafting this item, and nothing's a joke. Ha 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 ha, gotcha. Yep. It's actually sweet. Do I want stun avoidance here? I think I want something else here. Chance to chill attackers. I don't want that. Chance to slow attackers. Poison res. That is exactly what I need right now. What is going on? What? What is going on? Yeah. That's not bad at all. Their poison res is capped now. Fire was already overcapped. I will take it. A little bit of extra. Got our passive ward gen. Look at that passive ward gen. I knew that was up there all along. Alright, going back here. Oh, I do have something else. I do actually have something that I brought to share. Let's share this today. Okay, this is a little sneak peek at the Holy Lightning on hit and on death VFX that enemies can have. The video is doing some weird stuff here. I do not know what's going on. But the effects, so this is similar to the other effects for the other elements that are already in game. And just showing that we're expanding it to be not strictly just the elements that we have in game, but thematically a little bit variance as well. Yeah, little sneak there. Yeah, as far as the 1500 corruption runs, I think that there's I think expecting players to reach that high, if we expected players to reach that high in the corruption system, corruption would have to be able to be increased faster than it is. I don't think that there is. I think the people who are doing that are incredibly dedicated to pushing corruption, and it's awesome. And I think it's probably getting pretty tedious for them, and a lot of it is like, and I don't like, so I'm using conditionals here because I'm not sure, but I gotta say that I've never been overly tempted to push corruption that high organically, because it doesn't go up that fast, really. So there's something needs to change a little bit in that system. I'm not sure exactly what or how, but there's room for improvement, definitely. That was a lot of meteors. I am sad it didn't kill him. Go. Did like half of them just not hit last time or something? It's weird. Did I reach 2,000 corruption yet? No, I've never reached 2,000 corruption myself. Not legitimately. I've definitely played around with corruption that high, and mucked about with some builds and stuff like that. But I'm sorry to say that I've never done it properly. Oh, what am I doing? Lesson number 1, kids: don't stand in the fire. Oh, look at that increased lightning damage, though. Yeah, look at that increased lightning damage. Let's try and slap that on someone at some point. Oh, I know how to drink. Alright, a follow-up question to the corruption one, if that's okay. Of course! If the game is balanced around approximately 300 corruption, do you guys want the super high and optimized builds to be around 500 or 1000 corruption? As in, if a build with reasonably good gear is at 300, do you guys want a build that's super optimized to be 500 or 1000 or something else? I know these are quite hard questions to answer, but I very much appreciate the insight. I think it's really hard to put hard numbers to these things in general, and I say like 300 is generally what we optimize around, or like balance around, and it's less of a what do we balance the capabilities of the maximum potential of the capabilities of the builds around, and more around what do we balance the like gameplay experience around. Where's peak fun in that curve? And I think that the biggest problem comes from the ability. Right now, I think the biggest problem comes from the ability to go so high and put so much into it that is like above and beyond what we expect, and not get some like big reward for it. I don't think the solution is just slap a big reward on it, but like that would be a way to fix it. But I think the solution lies probably lies more in like adjusting the like the difficulty and reward curves to like ramp up faster than they do. I think it's the right thing. A lot of this is still discussion points. A lot of this is still debate points. It's not none of this is set in stone, really. And there's lots of little changes that happen here and there that can have big impacts on things like this. So we're still waiting on, you know, like seeing how item factions affects things, seeing how other changes to the model system affects things, seeing how adding the new classes affects things. You know, there's a lot of things that can have impact on these systems. But I think I think likely we'll be more interested in doing this water orb, more interested in doing a larger scale balance update, like close to 1.0. Oh my god, item linking! Yes, I see items in linked in chat. That's so cool. We've had internal item linking for a while now. It's just so nice to finally get it in the actual builds. Oh jeez, meteor didn't go off. Maybe it did. I'm just weak. Do I just suck? Oh, I'm just bad. When did I become bad? Okay, I got good again. First City likes 450. How do you feel about 420? The meteor belt is cool, but I was surprised to see an item that grants access to something from a specific class. What goes into deciding what skills can be given across to other classes? Yeah, so part of we do it conservatively in general. If a skill is typically it's abnormally well liked cross classes, and maybe thematically appropriate for the classes. So if we were gonna pretend that no other games in the genre exist, and we were gonna use our theming rules for various classes already, Meteor would be a druid skill, which sounds weird, I know, but Meteor would be a druid skill, possibly a shaman skill, but alright, I've restarted the stream again. I hope people can hear me. It's quite frustrating. Twitch says I have 0 viewers. That's unfortunate. Tiger's Eye, I do not believe that for a moment, but it is funny to think about. We're back, we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. We're like right at the boss fight. We're gonna do the boss fight. And both ended and not ended. Alright, so I was in the middle of answering a question about class skills and where they go and all that sort of stuff, and I was talking about Meteor probably ending up as a shaman ability or at least a primalist base ability of some way.
What do you think you're doing?
That's basically it. I didn't say much after that, I don't think.
Breaking the cycle. I refuse to be your sacrifice.
I think I may have said like, but if it was on that, it would likely be it would be called Comet. It would be a cold with fire conversion node. That's what I said. Just because it's like a natural phenomenon that's happening. You're inciting nature's wrath is what it's like. It's, a meteor is a natural thing, but it's just so intrinsic to the mage class and the sorcerer class as like a mainstay of ARPGs that we probably would. That's why we left it at mage. And this instance in particular, it's such a popular ability. And it does have this cross-class overlap a little bit that we decided to give it that, to open it up a little bit and let it become more universal. Regarding bounce pass, I imagine a wall. Imagine a wall at Tress house covered in spreadsheet printouts and crazy person markings. How close? Oh, like the Charlie Day gif, just like the. I think that's what's inside the brain. Just the mind palace. That's what it looks like. I think the chances of me successfully completing this boss fight first try is like 0%. Oh yeah, I should have saved a little bit of juice for this, shouldn't I? Alright. Okay, it's okay. Here we go. Just get enough in there. Teleport. Oh no. Oh, okay, rocket, rocket. Just die. Wait, Essence of Avarice. Never noticed it. Yay, we did it! Fight's over! Good job, everybody! Woohoo! Nailed it! Oh gosh, he's back! Who could have seen this terrible twist coming? I need so much more mana. Yeah. That's my mana potion just dying. Come on! Oh my god, no! Just too squish. Just too squish. It's okay, we got through the campaign, and we are 1 minute shy of the deadline. Take it. Cold damage, elemental over time. No, thank you. Yeah, not so much.
You think this is over?
Hello.
Horus showed me the power
Goodbye.
and with his power, I will not die. I cannot die.
Give me that passive. Yeah, cooldown recovery speed. Ooh, I want that. Yeah. I know this effect bothers some people. Sorry about that. Yeah, passive. Yeah, this one's... All right. We did it. We got through the campaign. I know I've mentioned this a few times on the stream before, but I really like this little nod here. This character, the Forgotten Knight.
I take it.
Our original plate-wearing sword and board class was called the Knight and was a female character. So this is a little nod to our original class. Well, actually, it was originally a Void Knight. Actually, originally it was a Knight. The very first thing was only a Knight. That was the only thing in the entire game. There was no class selection at all. That was like pre Kickstarter. A couple questions here. I'll answer a couple questions before we finish up. We're right at the end here. Sorry for all the technical difficulties in the stream. It's kind of rough. Hopefully things go smooth next time. I did just talk about in a non-question, but do you guys feel that the echo-specific modifiers, like being able to get void monsters have 200% increased damage and stuff, and their scaling with corruption is way more impactful than the corruption itself, is making it really annoying and kind of abrasive when you hit a blockage in your web where almost all the choices are really nasty offensive mods? Do you guys feel they're the same, or are you happy with the system? It's tricky because one of the key parts of the system that we really want to keep and that we think has right now is the ability to tailor the that experience to yourself. That ability to say, hey, these are the things I'm really good at. These are the things that my character's really bad at. Let me try and strategically move through this endgame system such that I can maximize my potential as a character. And the more we pull that the difficulty and the reward from the individual mods onto corruption itself, the less that is as effective. And it might not be, we may not have pulled enough over yet. And there's like we get enough feedback on the system that I'm still of the opinion that there should be some discussion on that to happen, but it's a little unclear what the best course of action is right now. Please tell my kids not to gargle their orange juice. In you must goes, kids. Stop gargling your orange juice. Drink that. It's good for you. Alright. Are there currently any plans to make boss fights easier to access? I feel the fights aren't too intrinsically hard, but getting a feel for a dungeon boss's mechanics requires a lot of runs, especially if I'm dying. Yeah, I think I do think that there's room for improvements in the ability to learn a boss fight, especially dungeon boss fights. As right now there can be a pretty big lead up to getting that second attempt. Monolith 2, actually. Give him a big smile. Awesome. Glad. It's a great way to end the stream. And we will end the stream there. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I appreciate you. I had a great time. I hope you did too. I will be back same time, same place next week. We'll have lots more awesome stuff to do and talk about. Hopefully you're having fun playing the game. If you have more questions that I did not answer, or just didn't quite get them in time, or I was muted when I was answering them or something like that, please feel free to head on over to our Discords and Ask the Devs channel, where we're hanging out answering questions all the time. If you are don't like that, there's also Reddit, our forums, there's other platforms as well, lots of helpful people hanging around all over the place. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Go say hi to somebody. Oh, the change to the UI makes it way harder to copy stuff now. That's frustrating. Speaking of people who are way better at Last Epoch than me, let's go say hi to Perry. See what he's up to. Have a great time, everybody. See you later.